Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Tuesday, October 21st. Mike Tomlin will be speaking momentarily on the south side of UPMC Marine Sports Complex. I'm on my way to go hear what he has to say after the Steelers' Thursday Night Football loss to the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 7 and an upcoming Sunday Night Football showdown with the Green Bay Packers in Week 8, which will not only be the Aaron Rodgers Bowl, including all the hoopla surrounding that, but also a critical game for a Pittsburgh Steelers team that is looking to get back on its footing with a grip on first place in the AFC North, but a tough stretch of scheduled games upcoming, including this one, and then games against the unexpectedly good Indianapolis Colts, the Los Angeles Chargers represent a daunting road trip. Really tough stretch coming up here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Be interested to hear from Mike Tomlin what he has to say about that, as well as the rest of the usual Tomlin Tuesday stuff. More on that coming up on Afternoon Drive. Me and Smitty here on your YouTube channel and in your audio feeds at 6 p.m. on the Steelers Afternoon Drive. Right now, I want to talk about the Steelers' offensive line. I talked to Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu yesterday, and most of what me and Smitty talked about coming out of these conversations was about Broderick Jones' ridiculous touchdown celebration tackle of 41-year-old Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers got mad at him. Social media got mad at him. Broderick and Rodgers say it's fine. It's all in good fun. I think it's fine. Mostly just don't hurt him. I do hope they have some fun with it going forward. Troy Fautanu clowning Broderick Jones about it was the best part of my day yesterday. That's up to your Truth or videos on the YouTube channel if you want to go check that out. But I want to talk about their play as offensive linemen outside of their touchdown celebrations. And it's really encouraging based on last week. Now, this is a bad Cincinnati Bengals defensive front, and it was missing its best player in Trey Hendrickson. But one of the reasons the Steelers went into some games with this idea that they were going to play Darnell Washington, they were going to play Spencer Anderson, they were going to play all this heavy football, is that they just weren't getting the job done with five guys. They needed some training wheels. 615 pounds of training wheels. 630 maybe, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of training wheels. And they've moved the ball pretty well with those training wheels on. Now, the Bengals are not a good defense, but I was encouraged by the fact that in that game, not only did the offensive line play well, it played well with the training wheels off. It played well against the run and against the pass, even when Washington and Spencer Anderson weren't in there alongside the five starters. Again, a rookie in Shamar Stewart, a very disappointing young player in Miles Murphy. Not necessarily the most difficult matchups for those two tackles specifically. But I think it's a really strong sign for their continued growth and development. That is something that we've seen already. Now, this week, I think the training wheels are going back on. Saw the look in Troy Fautanu's eyes when a questioner brought up Micah Parsons and Rashan Gary. And boy, that is the Cincinnati Bengals of edge rushers. I mean, I guess it's the Steelers, but their offensive line doesn't have to face them. Just in terms of nobody else has two guys like that. Rashan Gary is a very underrated player, has been for a long time. Was great coming out of Michigan, was great coming out of New Jersey in high school. Has incredible athletic traits. You add Micah Parsons to him, and that I watched it on. They were on night game this week. A very dangerous defensive front that can really make you pay for making mistakes against the pass, and also gets after the run pretty well. I think the training wheels are going back on, and I don't think that's a bad thing. That's okay. We took the training wheels off when it was a nice little level flat country road. Now we're doing some mountain biking. Not that you should mountain bike with training wheels. You're killing my own killing my own scenario here, but you get what I'm saying. Now the stakes are a little more difficult. It's okay. The help is going to go back. And I think the Steelers' passing offense is a little bit less dynamic when you've got Anderson and Washington in there. I don't think that's arguable. They probably won't have 4 passing touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers if they feel like they have to do that for most of the game. But that's okay. They just win and continue to grow and continue to develop. I wrote on Monday that the Steelers had scouted the Utah BYU game, and I thought that was interesting because they've spent most of their time scouting quarterbacks among players in the first round of the 2026 NFL draft. And yeah, when you scout the quarterbacks, you're scouting everybody. You're not just scouting Carson Beck. You're scouting Miami. You're not just scouting Ty Simpson. You're scouting Alabama, et cetera, et cetera. And those teams have lots of good players. In fact, those two teams both have first-round offensive tackles. But this was the first game I've seen the Steelers out where really the main and only attraction were offensive tackles, as Utah has two that should go in the first round. I think one that could go in the top 10. And really nobody else. Those are, according to NFL Mock Draft Database, those are the only two players in the top 100 of current prospects that play for either BYU or Utah. So it sure looks like they went there to scout tackles. Now, they've obviously drafted Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu in consecutive drafts. And Jones has yet to really live up to the expectations of his draft slot, although this is his first season while playing as a left tackle. They do have to decide at the end of this year whether they want to pick up his fifth-year option. It makes sense for the Steelers to have at least knowledge of what's coming in the draft so they can make a comparison. Hey, okay, do we want to sign Jones? If not, what are the alternatives? Well, you got to know, okay, doing their due diligence. But I would be very surprised if that's the road they go down, because I'm really continue to be impressed by the play of Broderick Jones and Troy Fautanu and the way this line is coming together. I don't think they're yet a great unit. I don't think they've yet lived up to the promise of their draft position, but I think they are good young players. They're growing together as a team, as a unit, and I think we're going to continue to see that growth over the course of the year. I'll be fairly surprised if by the end of the 2025 season, we're still talking about the idea of offensive tackle being a reasonable selection for the Steelers in the first round. Sure, they got to at least do their job right now and know what's there. But my gut feeling is they've got the offensive tackles of the future, and I'm really interested to see their continued growth. Tough assignment this week, and I want to see how they can handle it. I think it's one of the keys to victory for the Steelers this week, but also for their entire season, is getting those offensive linemen, especially those tackles, up to their playing potential. All right, that's all I got for this morning. Thanks for watching another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.